Tried to write my senior thesis about auto-scrolling levels in video games, but I don't think they were a fan. It's obviously because it's too difficult to explain my burning hatred towards these levels in just words. There's only so many synonyms for, holy crap, kill me, this level is so slow, although you'd be surprised. But anyway, I'm all good now. Nothing could make me talk about auto-scrollers. Well, that is unless the whole world turned into an auto-scroller, then I was forced to follow it around until I cover the subject properly, but yeah, fat chance. Auto-scrolling levels. A level in a game in which the camera control and freedom of movement you are so very used to and not asking to be taken away from you in the slightest. It's gone. The camera scrolls on its own. If it's down to up, left to right, or all the freaking above, what the heck is Yoshi's Island? The main gimmick here is that these levels are on the move. And if you don't want to get left behind in the non-existent void, get moving with it. No game is safe from an auto-scroller either. They can be found in all types of genres. Platformers, side-scrolling Metroidvanias, freaking Pepsi Man. But don't get me wrong, I don't hate all these indiscriminately. It's more about the implementation. Why is the control being taken away from me? Seriously, that's a genuine question. What is going on right now? I just don't buy the justification. And my anger meter with these can range anywhere from slightly annoyed but fine enough to I want to die. But if I do, I gotta restart the level! Which means doing it all over again, waiting for the camera to scroll. Oh, but did you want another hernia? Turns out you can get pinched between a wall and the literal camera. So if you fall too far behind, bye-bye. Aw, man. You see, auto-scrollers have always rubbed me the wrong way, but I can never quite figure out why. But I'm not alone either. Across the entire world, auto-scrollers are looked down upon in disdain, with public opinion ranging from the bane of my very existence to they're okay, I guess. Shoot, even YouTube legend PewDiePie was upset when a game he was let's playing started to auto-scroll.
Oh my god, I did it!
No other reason. So I figured there had to be something more, something fundamental as to why these levels suck balls. So why not read my my senior thesis and find out once and for all why these levels are hot buns. Oops, I just dropped it. Let me go grab that. Ah! Okay, we can start here. Theoretical physics. Video games. What do the two have in common? Scary perceptions of what it means to be alive. You know that hypothetical camera that isn't actually physically there and is only used to show you the game screen? Well, as it turns out, that camera exists. But if you leave the frame, you don't. That's right, leaving this imaginary boundary means you're a big pile of nothing. Camera overtakes you while scrolling up, you're donezo. Drop down farther than the camera shows, bye-bye. And sometimes these levels go against the very rules the game has already established. Trying to get down the bottom of this tower because it's crumbling? Well, your first instinct should just be to jump. Considering so far, the game allows you to fall multiple stories, no biggie. But if you try that here, sorry pal, you're part of the void. And in a land of vampires, skeletons, and demon owls with omniscient aggro, it really breaks my sense of immersion. Oh my god! Oh, what is y'all's pathing? And this applies to most any scrolling level. Like, does the ground I just saw 5 seconds ago not exist anymore? What is the logic here? See, in a scrolling level, you're now boxed into an uncontrollable frame that goes wherever it wants, however fast it wants to get there. I guess we're going up now. Now, despite my incessant complaining, just because a level auto-scrolls doesn't make it necessarily bad. It is hot up here. There are some genuinely well-designed levels that scroll, usually with a purpose or narrative reasoning behind the movement in the first place. Be it an on-rail segment like a minecart, or a wall of death scenario that encourages you to keep moving forward. If you dig into the design philosophy of a game, there's usually a reason a level is forced to scroll, even if it sucks. It can be to control the pace of a level, to have you hit certain beats when intended, or to have a cool action set piece you can't normally have in a regular level. Or because, yeah, there's sometimes no reason. What I'm trying to say is auto-scrolling levels can take you to a brand new, interesting location you wouldn't normally get to see in a regular level. Or it can take you to the top of a freaking mountain. These ice climbers are insane. Oh, thank goodness, we're going back down. But all although these are sometimes worth it for the cool and creative visuals, sometimes the screen moving makes it so you can't even take it all in. Not to mention, exploration is ripped away. If there's a cool collectible you want, then rev up those engines, bud. You gotta get it now or never. And in games that require you to grab collectibles to progress, if you miss a single one of these or, I don't know, die trying, congrats! Do it all over again.
If there's anything I hate the most, it's not being able to explore on my own. If there's something cool, I want to be able to pick it up.
But forget the invisible walls and non-existent boundaries. The whole point of speeding things up is that intentionality and challenge to the game. If you're not quick enough, you don't get that shiny new collectible. If you're not fast enough, I don't get dinner. And that all sounds good on paper, right? An added speed and camera limit can only be a good thing that challenges the player. And sometimes, yeah, these can be great obstacles that put your skills to the test. Only problem is, in most implementations, it's not usually you having to keep up with the level, but the level going super slow. I don't know who decided how fast these levels need to move, but this ain't it. See, when it comes to strictly platforming games, I'm a gosh dang speed demon, ripping through most levels. Shovel Knight takes 6.5 hours to beat, I take 5, and cry my way through the credits. I'll stop to smell the roses when I'm in a garden. And dead. I just like going through most games at a brisk pace. Sue me. But when I'm on a roll, grinding out levels and having a blast, then one of these show up? No thanks. Now, to Shovel Knight's credit, they did their share of scrolling levels really well. They're quick, scroll somewhat fast, and don't even take up a whole level, only a small section. So as fast as you're in, you're out, and on to the next part. But for other games, these can straight up cripple the pace. Like for instance, think of a gaming icon whose entire brand is speed. A pillar in fast gameplay, freedom of control. What's his motto again? Gotta go slow.
But although I'm usually bored silly by how slow the camera can move, sometimes it's the exact opposite problem. The camera instead going way too fast!
Now you might be wondering, how can both slow and fast be a problem? Pick a side. Well, the issue isn't that it's finally picked up the pace, it's that when the camera is at a fixed angle and speed, I can't see what the heck is in front of me.
So when the level's going super freaking fast, plus I'm blind, by the time I finally see the obstacle in front of me, it's too late! Anyway,
Alright, that's it. I'm done being mildly annoyed. I'm even more slightly mildly annoyed. I'm a chill guy. The whole restart the entire level if you mess up once has always been the worst part of these. You see, in these old SNES games, you're given a certain amount of lives until, sorry champ, restart the entire game. So when you spend countless hours memorizing enemy movements, learning attack patterns to lose as little hearts as possible, then you lose an entire life off one of these bad boys? Yeah, that's a kick in the holy daggers. But alright, with all these grievances finally on the table, the wacko scrolling speeds, restarting every time you die, existential dread, I think it's finally time to conclude what the fundamental issue with auto-scrolling levels are. And believe it or not, top-level programmers have actually diagnosed the problem with scrolling levels. It's a little term they professionally coined as, it's not fun. You see, if you were to boil down what exactly makes games fun in the first place, sure the list would be subjective based on who you talk to, but I'm willing to bet having all semblance of player freedom stripped away isn't high on the list. And I got some founding fathers who I think would agree with me. And having freedom in a game can mean many different things. It can be the freedom to explore wherever you like, forging your own path ahead. It can be the freedom to use a wide range of mechanics through opened up levels with divergent, branching storylines, or the freedom to waste $70. It may not be the biggest thing that stands out at first, but give a thought to some of your favorite games and think about all the different ways you were given to play. See, the great thing about video games is how each experience is your own. You may be guided to checkpoints or certain story beats, but the best moments in games are when you take control. You're the one that goes off the beaten path and discovers something cool. And if you're a big fan of segues, you may see where I'm going here. Anything taking away from said freedom, like restricting the camera, is a big no-no. Like imagine if you were playing Breath of the Wild, and when the camera sweeps over the landscape, showing you the incredible opportunities ahead, the lush forest in front of you, the intended path to the right, maybe even head straight to Hyrule Castle to try to fight the final boss, it instead becomes an auto-scroller forcing you where to go. That would suck. So there needs to be a narrative or gameplay reason for the scroll in the first place. And when there is one, shoot, these things actually work pretty well. Nothing lights a fire under your butt like impending death. Or even worse, losing your checkpoint. But what if we take it one step further? We have that impending death part in there, but the camera control is still up to you. Is that technically still an auto-scroller? I don't see why not. When viewing scrolling levels through this lens, I can actually admit some of them ain't all that bad. In fact, a great game that pulls this off is Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Sure, you're not forced forward by a non-existent camera, you still get complete control, but if you stick around too long, you get my point. The best sort of scrolling, in my opinion, are the ones you can't even tell technically scroll. An abominable snowman is running after me? Well, I should probably run. Get that player control and freedom, but add on top of that, holy crap, I gotta get moving or I die. It's that added challenge that so many scrolling levels try to achieve, but unfortunately, most usually fall into the category of unnecessary. Okay, so we sat through my little therapy session on why these suck. Big whoop. But what can you, as a normal everyday citizen who may or may not pay their taxes, do to combat these levels? Well, if the scrolling sections suck and the game sucks, then yeah, usually that's the deal breaker for me. There's only so many times I can hear, darn, we're not gonna make it, let's speed up, before I'm gonna shot put my PS3 out the window. If the limiting of speed goes against the intrinsic nature of the character you play as, yeah, I don't know how to help you. But on the other hand, if the game is good, even great, and has a sucky scrolling level, well, sometimes you just gotta suck it up, try not to die, and get through it bored silly. So you know what? Let's see if we can get to the end of this thing. Is it done? Is it over? Am I finally free? I might have overreacted a bit. So maybe these aren't as terrible as I thought before. Although some are slow and annoying, you can just sit through them. But believe it or not, there are some scrolling levels that I actually like. If there's a thematic reason for scrolling and it enhances the gameplay, then shoot. Who am I to say it's bad? I can't say there's many of these out there, but when they come around, they hit hard. Using the guided nature of the level to the game's advantage, setting a great pace as to time the music up with your actions, SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, I mean, come on, so fine. Although there are some straight up horrifying scrolling levels, I will admit they have their uses. And shoot, can even be great additions to some games when used well. So maybe these aren't all that bad. So you know what? I'm gonna go give one of these a second chance.
Darn, we're not gonna make it. Let's speed up.
Oh, that's so annoying. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna let these bother me anymore. I've already gone down that rabbit hole. I am all good.